Hi, my name is Renée Graef, and I'm the illustrator of many of the My First Little House books by HarperCollins, which are written by Laura Ingalls Wilder. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the process of illustrating a book and about my experience working on the Little House program. I first became involved with Little House when my illustration rep, Mariel Cornell, was at HarperCollins showing art portfolios of the various illustrators that she represents. And at the time, the creative director was looking for someone that drew in a similar style as Garth Williams. And of course, we know Garth Williams because the Little House books that we're familiar with are illustrated by him. And I had a few samples in the portfolio that reminded him of his style. So they asked me to do a sample, which I did, and this is the sample piece right here. They approved those and they liked them, and they decided to go ahead with the 8-book contract. And as you can imagine, I was just thrilled about this, and so I flew to New York to meet with them, and we discussed how the book should look and the vision for going forward. When I first illustrate a book, what I do is I work on thumbnail sketches. And the thumbnail sketches are very small and very scribbly, actually. And so there's about 14 and a half of these small sketches that make up a book. And what's nice about the thumbnail sketches is that you can see what the entire book will look like in a small format. And once these are approved, then I go on to the tighter sketches, which are larger. I take that small thumbnail sketch and I enlarged it on the copier, and then I traced it on thick tracing paper, which is called vellum. And I just refine the picture as I'm drawing it. And also this is when I do the research. So for this particular piece, I researched covered wagons and what hung on the outside of a covered wagon. I had to make sure that they had water. There was an oxen yoke that hung on the back. I looked at Garth Williams' illustrations to make sure that what I drew was similar to what he drew, just for consistency's sake. And once these are approved, then I take this and I would blow it up on the copier again to the size of the actual illustrations. And I would put this on a light table and trace over my sketch and then start painting and drawing the details. The thumbnails will take between 2 and 3 hours. The sketch will take between 4 and 5 hours, 3 and 5 hours, depending on how detailed it is and how much research is involved. And the final painting will take probably between 20 and 30 hours, I would say, all depending on the amount of detail again. And faces take up quite a bit of time actually, because you want to make sure that the eyes are looking exactly where you want them to look and the expression is just what you want. A book usually takes between 3 to 4 months. From start to finish. Usually I don't work 40-hour weeks. Usually I'm working 50 or 60-hour weeks. So it's, it depends on how you look at time. The technique that I use is I'll draw the picture out in a line drawing in colored pencil. And then I airbrush on the colors. That's what gives it this nice, soft kind of feel. Once the airbrushing is done, then I'll go back over it with watercolor and colored pencils, quite a bit of colored pencils actually. That's where I do my detail work. And the type of colored pencils that I use, I really like starting out with Durant Studio pencils. It's got a harder lead and it's just easier to make finer lines and softer lines. Now if I want to really beef up a line or make it really strong, then I'll go and I'll use the Prismacolors. And I like the Prismacolor very thin and just the regular Prismacolors. A couple of other tools that I like, of course, are the sandpaper for getting fine points for like faces, and also electric erasers are very handy. One thing I really enjoyed about the Little House, working on the Little House program, was going to all of Laura Ingalls Wilder's sites and seeing the places where she lived and traveled. It took so long back then to travel from one place to another that you can really appreciate the effort that it took to travel with, with no stores in sight, or few and far between. It just must have been so difficult. So it was really something to go to the sites and meet the people. I just loved that part, and I did that with my children and with my sister, and it was just a fun adventure. Thank you so much for your time and for taking an interest in the Little House books, and I hope to see you at one of the sites soon. Take care.